Alright, gather round, curious minds. Today we're diving into a topic that might just flip your perception of danger on its head. When you hear bite, what's the first thing that springs to mind? Probably a snarling dog, right? A wild animal, perhaps a shark, if you're feeling adventurous. But what if I told you that, in many ways, a human bite can be far more dangerous than one from our furry canine friends? It sounds counterintuitive, even a little bit shocking. But medically speaking, it's a truth bomb waiting to be dropped. Forget everything you thought you knew about teeth and danger. We're about to explore a surprisingly wild world. Let's start with the star of our show, the human mouth. It's not just for chowing down on pizza and chatting with your pals. Oh no, dear friends, your mouth is a bustling, thriving metropolis of microscopic life. It's a literal bacterial ecosystem, a wild world unto itself. Think of it as a hidden jungle, teeming with activity. Scientists estimate that a single human mouth can harbor over 600 different species of bacteria. That's a staggering number, isn't it? It's a constantly changing landscape, with new colonies forming and dissolving every single day. Now, here's the kicker. These aren't just any old bacteria. These are bacteria perfectly adapted to thrive in a human environment. When they get outside their usual home, like into a wound on another human, they're like seasoned invaders ready to colonize. Dog bacteria, while present in their own mouths, aren't nearly as well equipped to cause trouble in our bodies. They're foreign agents, less accustomed to our specific biology. Among this teeming multitude, some bacteria are particularly troublesome if they get where they don't belong. We're talking about characters like Eikenella corrodens, which sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. This particular germ loves to hang out in the human mouth and is notoriously difficult to treat once it causes an infection. Then there are the more familiar bad guys, various species of Streptococcus and Staphylococcus. You might recognize these names from other types of infections. In the mouth, they're just waiting for an opportunity to cause mischief. They are masters of adapting to human tissue. When these tiny troublemakers are introduced into a bite wound, they can cause a whole host of nasty problems. We're talking about rapid and intense swelling as the body tries to fight off the invasion. Pus, that delightful creamy substance, is a common sign of a serious bacterial party happening. A fever can quickly develop as your immune system kicks into overdrive. And in the most severe cases, these bacterial infiltrations can lead to septicemia or blood poisoning. That's when the infection spreads throughout your bloodstream, becoming a life-threatening emergency. It's a stark reminder that what happens inside your mouth can have very serious consequences outside of it. Now, let's talk about a specific type of human bite that doctors dread, the fight bite. This isn't usually a malicious chomp. It's an injury sustained when someone punches another person directly in the mouth. It's a common injury in altercations, often underestimated by the person who inflicted it. The mechanism is surprisingly effective at driving bacteria deep into tissue. As the fist connects with the teeth, the knuckles often scrape against them. This action creates a small, jagged wound on the hand, often right over a joint or tendon. What makes this particularly insidious is how deceptively small the wound can look. It might appear as just a minor cut or abrasion, something that might not even bleed much. The person might think it's nothing more than a scraped knuckle, easily shrugged off. But internally, a silent and dangerous process has begun. Those mouth bacteria we just talked about are now deep inside the knuckle, often directly into the joint space or tendon sheath. These areas have limited blood supply, making it incredibly difficult for the body's immune system to reach and fight off the infection. Doctors, especially those in emergency rooms or orthopedic surgery, greatly fear hand bites. The reason is simple. The hand is an incredibly complex structure, packed with delicate joints, tendons, and nerves, all very close to the surface. A small infection in these areas can rapidly escalate. If left untreated, or even if treated late, these infections can cause catastrophic damage. Joint cartilage can be destroyed, tendons can be eroded or ruptured, and movement can be severely impaired. The potential outcome is permanent loss of function, stiffness, or chronic pain. It's a stark reminder that a seemingly minor wound can hide a major internal threat. Beyond the immediate bacterial onslaught, human bites also come with another set of less than desirable gifts. Yes, we're talking about the potential for disease transmission. Our mouths, while amazing, can sometimes harbor viruses and other pathogens that are perfectly happy to hitch a ride to a new host via an open wound. While thankfully rare, human bites have the potential to transmit serious infections. Hepatitis B and C are known risks, especially if the biter is infected and has detectable viral loads. Herpes simplex virus, the cause of cold sores, can also be transmitted. Imagine getting a cold sore, but not on your lip, but on your hand. Even syphilis, though exceedingly rare in this context, has been documented as being transmissible through human bites. The thought alone is enough to make you want to avoid any teeth-to-skin contact, isn't it? It just goes to show the diverse array of biological souvenirs our mouths can carry. Compare this to a dog bite. While a dog bite certainly carries its own risks, the primary concern for disease transmission is usually rabies. Rabies is a terrifying, almost universally fatal disease, but it's also relatively rare in many parts of the world thanks to vaccination programs. Once cleared for rabies risk, the main issue from a dog bite is the bacterial infection, which tends to be more superficial and less aggressive than human-specific bacteria. So, when it comes to the buffet of potential infections, human bites offer a far wider and more concerning menu. It's not just about one or two pathogens. It's a whole potential array of viruses and bacteria, some of which are very challenging to treat. This broad spectrum of risk makes them uniquely problematic from a public health perspective. Here's where the human element really kicks in, and not in a good way. One of the biggest reasons human bites often lead to worse outcomes is psychological. Our brains are wired to perceive certain threats differently, and when it comes to bites, our perception is often skewed. Think about it. A dog bite usually looks dramatic. There might be tearing, deep punctures, and a lot of blood. It's scary, visually alarming, and instinctively, it triggers an immediate response. Most people would rush to the emergency room without a second thought. The fear factor is high. Human bites, on the other hand, especially those fight bites, often look insignificant. They're frequently small lacerations or scrapes, perhaps a little bruise. They don't look as overtly menacing. There's no snarling animal, no dramatic tearing of flesh. It's just a small cut. This perceived insignificance is a huge problem. People tend to downplay the injury. They might clean it themselves and think it's nothing to worry about. They delay seeking professional medical attention, sometimes for days. They believe it's just a scrape that will heal on its own, like any other minor cut. But as we've learned, what looks minor on the outside can be a ticking time bomb on the inside. This delay in treatment allows those highly adapted human bacteria to set up shop, multiply, and spread. By the time medical help is sought, the infection can be well established, making it much harder to control and significantly increasing the risk of serious complications and long-term damage. This psychological blind spot is a critical factor in why human bites are so dangerous. So, what happens when you finally do go to the doctor with a human bite? Well, you'll find that medical professionals take these injuries incredibly seriously. There's no downplaying here. The moment a doctor hears human bite, their alarm bells start ringing. They understand the grave risks involved. The first course of action is usually aggressive wound cleaning. This isn't just a quick rinse. It often involves thoroughly irrigating the wound with sterile saline solution, sometimes even cutting away damaged tissue to get to all the potential infection sites. The goal is to flush out as many bacteria as possible as quickly as possible. Given the diverse and tenacious nature of human oral bacteria, strong, broad-spectrum antibiotics are almost always prescribed. These aren't your typical antibiotics for a minor sniffle. They are chosen specifically to target the types of bacteria commonly found in human mouths, including those notoriously hard-to-treat anaerobic species. The antibiotic regimen might be quite intensive, often lasting for a week or more. In many cases, especially with hand bites or if the infection has already begun to spread, surgery may be necessary. This could involve exploring the wound to meticulously clean out infected tissue, draining abscesses, or even repairing damaged tendons or joints. Sometimes, multiple surgeries are required to save function and prevent permanent disability. It's a full-on medical assault to combat a deceptively simple injury. So, there you have it, the surprising and perhaps a little unsettling truth about human bites. They might not have the dramatic flair of a shark attack or the primal fear of a rabid dog, but their insidious nature makes them incredibly dangerous. The human mouth, our very own biological wonder, is a complex ecosystem brimming with bacteria perfectly evolved to cause problems when they get outside their designated zone. We've seen how those deceptively small fight bites can hide devastating internal damage, particularly to the intricate structures of the hand. And let's not forget the potential to transmit a wide array of diseases, making them a medical challenge on multiple fronts. The biggest takeaway? Don't ever underestimate a human bite. Here's the crucial advice. If you or someone you know sustains any type of human bite, especially one that breaks the skin, please, for the sake of your health, don't delay. Clean the wound thoroughly with soap and water immediately, but then seek medical help right away. A healthcare professional can assess the risk, clean the wound properly, and prescribe the necessary antibiotics to prevent a small scrape from turning into a life-altering problem. Stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay safe.